Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast, the world's leading authority on childcare marketing, mindset, expansion, and profitability. Each episode will feature interviews with the brightest minds in the childcare industry to guide you into becoming a smarter business leader. Our hosts have opened 10 schools while raising 5 children. They are certified business coaches and are the top-selling childcare business book authors of all time. This episode is sponsored by Childcare Genius Marketing. Let Childcare Genius Marketing help you get fully enrolled and fully staffed. Visit childcaregenius.com for more details. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast our hosts, Brian and Carol Duprey.
Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast.
We're your hosts, Brian and Carol Duprey.
And today we are going to talk about working with your spouse or partner and how to maneuver those minefields.
Get along better.
Yes.
And not kill each other.
Get along better in work and in personal life.
Oh, yeah. And it all goes hand in hand. How are we going to do it, Carol?
Well, the first thing is you have to stay in your lane. First, you have to know what your lane is.
What is a lane?
Your lane is your area of responsibility in the business. And that can be in the business. And if you're married, it can also be in your home, what your lanes are and your responsibilities. And it can't just be a big thing that we had when I took over the business is Brian just assumed that I knew what I was supposed to do, what he would do, but that doesn't work. You really have to talk about it and you have to decide by people's strengths, what their lane should be and what your lane should be. You shouldn't just give your spouse or your partner everything you don't want to do.
Oh, that doesn't work well.
No, it doesn't.
You're going to find out where their strengths are. Carol has certain strengths. I have certain strengths, and we bring those to the table.
Yeah.
You think of it driving down the road like a car. If you're in a divided highway or you're on an interstate and you're in your lane, what happens when you cross over into the lane and there's a car there? You're gonna crash. If you cross over into your spouse's lane, we've crashed a few times, right?
Yeah.
It's not pretty. And that's what happens when you don't have clear established lanes, because they're gonna feel like, wait a minute, you told me to pay the bills, and yet you're complaining that I'm paying the bills, right? So it's not good enough. So you got to have those responsibilities.
And if you have areas that neither one of you are strong in, you can find somebody else in your business to do it.
Right.
You don't have to do everything yourself.
But it doesn't mean that one person's not responsible. So let's just say Carol's responsible for staffing, and she could delegate that out to her daughter. But she's still ultimately responsible.
I have to make sure that it's being done.
Yes. So that's where the key indicator is. Dealing with staff is not my cup of tea. I'm not really good at it. I treat it like more military, just the way my brain's wired. Like Carol's really good at it and do that. On the finance side, not that Carol couldn't do it, but I'm really good at it. And so that becomes my area of expertise. And doesn't mean I don't consult her. I never would buy a major purchase without running it by her and discussing it. And she's talked me into things and talked me out of things and been opposite of mine. And sometimes I listen to her, most of the time, guys. And she's been right most of the time. Probably all the time, but we're not keeping score here, are we?
I do.
But anyway, it's so important to have established lanes of responsibility.
Right. Yeah. And make sure that you separate business and personal. What that means is you have to make sure that when you're at work, whether it be in your home or in an office or in your center, that your business partners, not husband and wife, because it's like some people have their partner as their child. Right. You can't treat your child like your child if they're your business partner.
That's right.
You can't do that at work. And also, they can't treat you like their parent.
Right. We've had some problems with this.
And you can't treat your spouse like your husband or your wife when you're in work mode. You have to be business partners. You have to be in business mode when you're at work so that the work can get done and it can get done in a professional manner.
100%. Couldn't have said it better
And
myself.
not only that, when you're at home, it's not business time.
Exactly.
When you're at home, they're your spouse. They are not your business partner.
What if you work from home?
Well, then when your day ends, your work day ends, you have to have an end time.
Exactly.
If your end time is 5 o'clock, then you have dinner and no more work.
No more work done.
That's right.
Find your balance. For us, it's 7 o'clock. We don't work after 7, and we don't work Sundays. That's kind of a rule of thumb. We don't hardly ever break that. And that's Carol and I time. We know the work talk stops. And the lovey-dovey, Carol looks at me with those lovey-dovey eyes and blats her eyelashes and looks all purty. That's her time to shine. Where she puts on her makeup and puts her best.
I always look pretty.
Yeah, always. She's very purty. But anyway, that's our time, and we don't mess.
Right.
Now, every time she answered the phone during our time, that's an interruption. And to me, that sends a message, this is more important than you are. And I've seen so often, honey, couples going out to eat, and I see them just looking at their darn phones and not staring into each other's beautiful eyes. Now, why would I ever want to look at my phone when I can look into those beautiful eyes that God ever created? Why would I want to do that? Exactly. And I don't. So, guys, take some time, listen to your spouse, pay attention before somebody else does. All right, what's next, hon?
Conflict resolution. We're going to talk to you about a couple ways that you can resolve conflicts, whether it be personal conflicts or work.
Yeah, so conflict is inevitable.
Right.
Once in a while, although Carol and I are pretty darn, I can't think of the last time we had a conflict.
But if you never have any conflicts or disagreements, then that means one person is running the show.
So. Exactly. So, once in a while we'll come up with situations and we know how to talk it through.
Right.
And because, this is all on me. I used to not be a good listener. I know Carol finds that hard to believe. But I used to not be the greatest listener. And there's a lot of conflict when a guy's not listening. Or the lady, it goes both ways. When somebody's not listening to the other, it means that they think the other person, or they can get construed as being irrelevant.
Right.
And a lot of times we pick up these bad habits in childhood. When our parents don't listen to us, we tend to be not listening going back. And it could be just something you're raised in.
And it's sometimes you just think, well, I know what he would say anyway. So there's no reason to even discuss it with him.
Yeah.
So that's a bad idea too.
Yeah. And sometimes you need to date your spouse again and fall in love again. Carol and I have done this many times. Really, I think we're in our honeymoon phase right now. After 35 years, we got about 15 more years of our honeymoon. Once we hit 50 years married, then we could probably slow down a little bit, but we're still like teenagers. We have a lot of fun, and we just love life and love each other immensely. We tell each other we love each other every day, several times a day. We hug, we kiss, we hold hands everywhere we go, and people would think we're newlyweds, and that's the way I like it. And it sure beats the alternative, right? But it wasn't always that way.
No.
Not even close.
No.
And we work on it. And listening, once I learned to start listening, guys, it changed everything.
I'll tell you, the reason that we have these tips for you is because we've been through it and they helped us.
Yeah, we've almost been divorced a couple times.
Yeah.
We worked through it, problem solved. And we know divorce is a lot more expensive than staying married, especially when you're a successful business owner, and not just in financial, but in children and grandchildren. And it's just so much easier to get it right and keep it right.
Yep.
And now we got a great life. Thank God every day that we figured it out. But anyway, yes, that's why we have these tips. So one of the things that we could talk about is a win-win. And that's more for business. What's a win-win?
A win-win is where if you have something that you want to do, whether it's open a new center or expand your existing center or buy some property, you talk to your spouse, instead of them immediately saying that's a really bad idea, what you need to do is discuss it and come up with different things. Like they could say, well, I'm up for getting a new center if it's only 50 kids. And you say, no, that's not enough. Or you say, okay, I can live with that. So you come up with several different ideas. And each of you either says absolutely not, or that's something we can discuss. And then after you go through all the discussion, hopefully you can come up with something that you both agree on. If you can't, you need to table it, don't do it, and come back to it later.
Yeah, I remember we wanted to buy a property once, and it was like close to $1.5 million. It was more money than I've ever spent on any property. And Carol was adamant that she wanted this. And I was a little leery of going into that much debt and buying this property.
Because we were buying it no money down.
No money down. You're going to finance the whole thing, you know, and the unit did have, you know, there's 27 units and it had issues, and I was just a little nervous. And so we actually win this and talked about all the scenarios. And it's not like she changed my mind, but she made her case and figured out what she could live with and what could I live with. You know, I figured, okay, if this happens, then I could do this. And we were able to get the price down by $100-something thousand, which made it a little more palatable. Like certain things fit the bill.
Yeah. And we also looked at what income is it bringing in now, but what could we make it bring in?
Right. Carol helped make the case that we were getting, I think, $20,000 a month rent. She said, I think we could bill $25,000 a month with different subsidized housing that we have. They were underbilling. So that gave us an immediate 20%, made the numbers work a whole lot better. Like she made her case, but backed it up with numbers. And we ended up buying it, and it's been our most profitable purchase we've ever made. If I would have just said, no, that's it, end of story, that would have been it. But a win-win, you know, has made us a lot of money by doing it. And my ability to listen and be open-minded, willing to changes everything. And I get no credit here. Carol's the one who started it, found it, and worked on it. But without us both contributing in there, it never would have happened. Right. And that's the power of win-win. With a couple that works together, 1 + 1 does not equal 2. 1 + 1 is 3. Right. And we are more powerful than the two sums of our equal parts working independently. Carol working independently, me working independently, that's 1 + 1 is 2. But if we work on the same project and the same thing, and we put our heads together and go to a win-win, it's 1 + 1 is 3 all day of the week.
And if you each bring your own strength to it, that's where you get the 3.
There is power. We're an unstoppable force.
Some people say when you get married, you become 1. That's not true.
Oh, we became 3.
Right.
Because we knew how to work together. At times we were half. We weren't even a 1 at certain times in our marriage. We're a 3 now, and we are on fire. We know how to work that. We got it dialed in. And it's the person you want teaching you how to improve your marriage is the one that has had the struggles and not all rosy and just talk about, the good times. We can tell you the good, bad, and the ugly because we've lived it. But we also could find how to get on the other side of it. And we work with a lot of couples, helping them get through working together because it's not easy, especially if the husband, we've had a lot of people that go from a 20-year career somewhere or 25-year career, and then all of a sudden now starts working with the lady. Oh my God, fireworks. Yeah. The lady feels resentful because the guy comes in and he wants to change things, do it his way, because guess what, guys? You know, sometimes we have a little bossy thing to us and we want to do things our way. And you know what? The way childcare people do it, heart-centered, doesn't make logical sense sometimes, right? To us guys. So we come in there with our own little ideas and all of a sudden it upsets the apple cart. Instead of just coming in and listening, which is a key skill, and trying to work to a win-win, it changes everything. That's our bread and butter, work with couples that are struggling through this.
The next thing to talk about is a heart talk, and that's where the listening comes in.
Listening is all about if Carol has an issue with me that I'm doing something wrong. A lot of times in the past, she would just not tell me. She would clam up and just the resentment would build up over time, right?
Right.
You know, if Carol snored every night and I never said anything, you know, maybe she eventually wouldn't deal with it. And that's a bad example because I'm just throwing one out. But people, you don't know what you don't know. And if something's bothering you, we call it a love buster, something that busts love. It takes away, every time you do something nice, I make Carol breakfast or she brings me coffee, we make deposits in a thing called the love bank. Over time, you need to be making deposits. I make a lot of deposits, don't I? Every day I make deposits in the love bank. But if you're married for a couple of years, you start making more withdrawals
Right.
than you make deposits.
And if you don't know that you're even doing those withdrawals, that's bad.
That's real bad.
So if your spouse isn't talking to you about things, I didn't talk to Brian about things out of fear, not fear that he would hurt me or anything like that, but fear that he would dismiss it, or fear that he would just say, just suck it up and deal with it or whatever. So, but after we learned how to talk to each other, it was so much better, because in a heart talk, I tell him what's on my mind, but he can't respond.
Yes.
He can't defend himself. He can't say, but this. He just has to listen. And then if he asks permission, can I say something? Then I can say yes or no. I could say no, I just wanted to get off my chest, and we're done with that discussion.
And we don't have to do many heart talks anymore.
No.
Because we communicate well.
Right.
If something's bothering you, you're going to tell me, and vice versa, and we can work through it without getting to that. But if you have issues that you're festering and you're afraid to tell your spouse or they're not a good listener, our talk is a good way to get that out. So
and what we had to do in the beginning is schedule it.
Yes.
We scheduled it
every Sunday. We'd have to schedule one just so we could communicate. And now, like I said, we haven't done one in a while. We don't, like, if there's something, Carol knows she could get one anytime, and I know so could I.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll just say, I have something to share with you. It's kind of difficult.
I did that just yesterday. I said, I just want to let you know that when you did this is how I felt.
Yeah.
And that's one thing you have to be careful of, is saying, you made me feel this way. Because you could say, I felt this way, because your feelings are your feelings.
Yeah, you can't make somebody feel anything. All right. So very important. All right.
Brian knows that, because if he says anything, I'm like, you made me what?
Happy?
Or
made you happy?
His friend will say, you let Carol do that? He goes, I don't
let Carol do anything. I've learned that lesson, right? Never let her do. She's her own woman and can do what she wants to do. Yeah. And I'm happy she chooses to be married to the guy who loves her the most in the world every single day. All right, what's next, honey?
Your spouse or partner is not your employee.
And that goes both ways.
Right.
Women, the guy's not your employee, and vice versa. He might be the maintenance guy, but he's your business partner first. His lane might be maintenance. But you don't treat him like an employee. He is your business partner. He's 50-50. He owns the company the same as you.
Yep.
Might have different responsibilities. Might only have 10% of the responsibilities, but he's still your equal partner. And it goes the same way, guys. If you're on your wife too, they may be an equal partner. They might not have any involvement in the center. They're still a partner.
Yeah.
Right. Doesn't mean they have to be involved or anything like that. But you just don't treat them like an employee. You demand, you delegate, you spin it, because I've seen it. I've seen the ladies treat their husbands like crap, and go do your maintenance and then it's just it doesn't work. It causes a lot of problems.
Yeah. And the same thing with business partners. It doesn't have to be spouses.
Oh,
if they're your business partner.
True. You got to work together as a team for sure. All right, let's talk about date night, because while we're talking about business partners, again, separating that. So what do we do in our life that we have to improve our marriage and get away from work?
There's a couple things you can do for date night. You can go to dinner, you can go dancing, you can play board games, which we just started doing. But the important thing is to get away from work, and everything needs to be about you, not about what happened today and what is this going on and this going on. You've got to put all that aside and just have a nice date night and focus on each other.
It doesn't have to be a date night. Carol and I had date breakfast today.
Yeah.
So when we worked out, we got our hour in the gym, lifting weights, and then we decided we'd do a 1.5 mile walk, and we ended up having breakfast on the way. Neither one of us had our cell phones. So we had to gawk into each other's eyes and drool a little bit and whisper sweet nothings in our ear and stare at each other and blink our eyes at each other as we watched the sunrise over Tampa Bay, which was amazing. And so that's how we started our day today, with a date breakfast.
Yeah.
And we held hands during breakfast, and we're across the table from each other, mind you. And it's something I do to share her that she's the most important part of that. So don't be afraid you have those opportunities. Don't be afraid to take advantage of that. And that probably felt good, right?
It did. And don't dominate date night. You should each take turns picking something to do.
Sure. Yeah. And guys, I picked pool the other night, and Carol beat me at pool. And she said, I'm never going to beat you. I said, don't ever sell yourself short. And when I sunk the 8-ball and she won the game, I was like, the win is a win, baby. And don't ever think you can't beat somebody at anything. And then we played Yahtzee, and she beat me 3 games, 2 games to 1, but she rolled the Yahtzee on 1 dice. Who does that? 1 roll. The odds of that are 1 in 29,000. And she did it.
You had to look that up.
I had to look it up. I asked AI. And then she got 4 Yahtzees in 3 games. I said, what are the odds of that? 1 in 9,000. I was like, you need to play Powerball, girl. But that's the kind of date night we have. We had a lot of fun, and just us. And date night is not sitting in front of the TV watching a show.
Yeah.
That used to be us.
Yeah. We're figuring out how to be empty nesters.
You know what it is? When I married Carol, she had 2 children. So we never had us time. We never dated. Well, we did date a little bit, but not like they date today.
Right.
Now we're dating, and we've never had more fun, and it's honeymoon time 35 years in, and it's just amazing. And we're hoping we're giving you ideas. If you want that rekindling, we'll help you. We actually coach a lot of this inside our Child Care Genius University. We work with couples that are struggling in their marriage. We've counseled a lot of people. We actually love it. So have a dream board and have common long-term shared goals. Going to different trips that we've gone on to. Switzerland was our number 1, both of ours, destination that we both wanted to go to. And this past summer, we both went to Switzerland together for a couple of weeks. We spent in Europe, and it was amazing.
It was.
And it was on our thing. And we have other destinations that we want to go to. Australia's one of our top 2 right now. We're going to go last year, but I had my surgery. So we're going to get down there. So we know what those things are. So make sure you have a dream board and dream goals. Husband and wife, do them together. Do them separately, then marry them up and find out where your common intersects lie. If you both want to go to Antarctica, make it happen. If you both want to climb Mount Everest, make that happen. Only one wants to do it, don't drag the other one along. Go do it on your own or bring a friend with you. Very important. But sometimes, I'll take one for the team. Carol wanted to go lay on a beach in Fiji. I would suck it up and go lay on a beach with Carol in Fiji.
And if Brian wanted to go on an Alaska cruise, I would go with him.
Yes, you would. What a great wife you are. Since you lived in Alaska, you know how beautiful it is. But anyway, we have a good time together. Sometimes we have to share our common goals and our dreams. I've been to 47 states. Alaska's the one of the 3 that I haven't been to. Nebraska and North Carolina are the other 2, or not North Carolina, North Dakota are the other 2. And I'm going to get to those 3 to get all 50 states in. But Alaska's a big dream of mine. And Carol's going to suck it up and go on an Alaskan cruiser with me this summer. And kind of looking forward to that. And I just want to see some whales, maybe do some salmon fishing, and have a little bit of fun. All right. How about the genius morning? This is the last thing I want to share with you guys. How we start every single day, each day.
We jump out of bed with a smile on our face.
Smile on our face. We make the bed together.
We do. We don't really jump out of bed with a smile on our face.
But we hug or we kiss, and we
get up,
we make the bed together. And then
have our coffee, read.
Brian goes to make the coffee while Carol starts reading.
And then we go to the gym, work out, and that's it.
And come in, clean up, have breakfast together. and then we start work on our day. That's our genius morning. And we've been doing this for quite a while now. And Carol's lost 50 pounds, so it's been really good for her. I'm down about 20. So the routine has been great for us.
And I will say that this is kind of a plug for Lisa G, because we were talking and I said, I never make my bed in the morning. She goes, there's a book called Make Your Bed First.
Yeah.
She said, then you accomplish something right away. Right. And I can tell you that it really does make a difference.
It makes a difference, yeah.
And especially if your office is in your bedroom and you're sitting, you want to look at your made bed.
So thank you, Lisa G and Carly, one of the coaches on our team, for that tip. But yeah, we make our bed first together because it's a lot easier to make a bed with. It's half as fast to make it with two people than it is to make it by yourself. And we both messed it up. I can't blame her for that. It's a 50-50 problem, even though most of the covers are on my side. For some reason, she throws all the covers on my side of the bed every single night.
He just wants me to get closer and closer to him so he can pull the covers over.
You said you were cold last night. And I said, well, it's warm on my side. Come on over, right? I'm the snuggler. She's the pusher awayer. She doesn't like to be touched at night. I will smother her if I wanted to, not with a pillow or anything like that. But I would love to snuggle up next to her. She doesn't. I'm radiant, so she doesn't want my body heat. Anyway, we're probably giving too much information.
Yeah.
But I hope you enjoy us sharing a little bit, being vulnerable with you, not being afraid to share our weaknesses and where we've gone wrong, because you can't get to the good without going through the bad. We've struggled at our childcare center, which probably makes us good coaches to help you where you're going good. So, it's been really good for 25 years. And we've had some struggles in the first couple, and we teach people how to avoid those things. So if we could help you in your childcare business, please reach out to us at childcaregenius.com. We can help you in your marriage, want to work together. We coach this in our coaching program. We coach a lot of couples. We have saved, I don't know, dozens of marriages that would have not made it through. And think of all those children that would have to grow up without two parents in a single home, or the employees when the daycare had to be sold. We don't win them all, but we do our best to help as many people as want. So this concludes this episode of the Childcare Genius podcast. Can't wait to see you next week.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss a future episode of the Childcare Genius podcast. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Childcare Genius podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Childcare Genius community.